I have a crush on my handsome, funny roommate, but he's been in love with someone else for a long time. He left his parrot with me over fall break. It was the perfect opportunity to find out who his crush is. Every day I'd ask, who is Luke's secret crush? And every day, the parrot would mimic, who is Luke's secret crush? Later, I flopped onto my bed and asked Luke in frustration, tell me, who is this person you've been crushing on for so long? The parrot beat him to it. Ian. I froze. Wait, I never taught it my own name. Ian, are you going to miss me over the break? Luke walked over after his shower, reaching out from behind me to play with the parrot. I smacked his hand away and teased him. Sure. I'll miss you so much I won't be able to sleep. Really? Just as he said it, a drop of water trickled down his chiseled face and landed on my collarbone, sending a shiver through me. I turned to look. He was only wearing a large towel around his waist, his broad, pale chest completely exposed, revealing the faint outline of toned pecs. Luke, can you please put some clothes on? I pointed at him, then shut my eyes and covered Juju's little eyes too. It's hot. We're both guys, what's the big deal? He cheekily grabbed the hand I was using to cover my eyes and guided it toward his chest. Hey, what are you so shy about? Go on, have a feel. My heart started racing, and my body temperature shot up. I quickly gave them a couple of pats, then, steeling myself, snatched my hand back and pressed it against my chest. Damn it, heart, slow down. So what's the verdict? Luke leaned in, pressing me for an answer. Not great. What even is this? Your workout routine sucks. Really? Oh, I thought you'd like it. He looked at me dejectedly, like a kicked puppy. What does it matter if I like it? I turned away, feeling a pang of sadness myself. As long as your secret crush likes it, that's all that matters. Juju, right on cue, picked up on the keywords and chirped, secret crush, secret crush. Like. As everyone knows, Luke spilled the beans right at the start of the semester, admitting he had a long-term secret crush. During our first get-together, Luke was the first one picked for a game. Since none of us knew each other well, the questions were mostly about relationships. Is there anyone you like in this room? Luke, who was sitting next to me, gave a barely noticeable twitch in his leg. Then he smiled, a slight curve on his lips, and answered nervously, yes. I glanced around the room. There were about a dozen of us, and I couldn't tell who Luke was looking at differently. So, from that day on, I started watching him. But a year of observation turned up nothing. He spent most of his time alone with me. So where did he find the time to have a secret crush? Still, his tone that day had been so serious, like he was making a life or death confession. Even so, it didn't stop the flood of admirers. Guys and girls were constantly giving him love letters and confessing to him, but he turned every single one of them down. And so, one of the biggest mysteries on the AU subreddit became, who is Luke's secret crush? Threads and theories piled up. A dozen people who were there that day endlessly speculated. Someone even suggested me, and it was the most upvoted theory? Seriously, was I that obvious? Okay, fine. I like Luke, but he doesn't like me. Ian, I'm leaving Juju with you for a few days. I'll bring you back something good. Ian? Huh? What? What are you thinking about so hard? He asked, holding Juju's cage and giving me a mock accusatory look. Don't tell me you're getting ideas about me after touching me. Are you? He leaned in suddenly, a smirk on his face. What? Get over yourself, Luke. I was thinking about a beautiful woman. Who'd be thinking about you? I spouted nonsense, my face burning. I couldn't very well admit I was thinking about his secret crush. He put the cage down and moved closer. Who were you thinking about just now? You have a crush on a girl? His smirk faded, his brows furrowed, and his deep voice held a hint of displeasure. He cornered me step by step, and I leaned back until my back hit the edge of the table, making me cry out in pain. His frown immediately vanished. He pulled me into his arms and anxiously checked my back. Are you okay? My chest was pressed against his, my lips barely brushing against his skin. I could feel the heat radiating from him as he spoke. My face instantly flushed. Wait, Isn't this position a little too intimate? I hurriedly pushed him away, my cheeks scalding hot. It's fine, just a little red. Were you trying to get away from me just now? Are you scared of me? He put on his wounded puppy face again, his eyes fixed on me. I was dumbfounded. Was I just imagining things a second ago? Anyone would be scared of someone who changes expressions that fast. Okay? Dude. No. By the way, what were you saying? I was saying, why don't you just come home with me? Your family's not around, right? You can just come to my place. He shot up, leaning over me and blinking his eyes. I don't think that's a good idea. What's not to like? Just come. My mom would love you. Why does that sound like I'm meeting the parents? It is meeting the parents. I froze, staring at him blankly. He cleared his throat twice. I mean, classmates meeting parents counts, too. Besides, it's not like we haven't. Never mind, I think I'll pass. I have to look after Juju. He was getting more and more ridiculous, making it sound like a bride meeting the in-laws before the wedding. Oh, him? He'll be fine. It's just a few days. Leave him enough food and water, he won't starve. Juju squawked twice, selectively mimicking starve, starve. Stupid bird. Luke muttered through gritted teeth. Say that again and I'll cook you. The squawking stopped. Juju turned his head and guiltily pecked at his food. I had to laugh. It's fine, I soothed. It's just a few days. I'll wait for you to come back. You're really not coming? I shook my head. All right, then just feed him whenever. How can I do that? I'm practically Juju's other dad. I'll definitely take good care of him. Luke grinned and leaned in again. Thanks, Ian. You take good care of our baby, then. I'll remember to video call you. Juju started mimicking again. Ian, baby, baby. I blushed, feeling the temperature around me rise. What is this bird even learning? And Luke, what was he saying about Juju being our baby? My mouth twitched. I was speechless. Who would have thought that AU's resident Ice King was secretly like this? That night, Luke squeezed into my bed. He was leaving early the next morning and insisted on sleeping with me tonight to strengthen our bond. You're leaving for a week, not 7 years. Luke, why are you so clingy? I pushed his head off my shoulder. It was so heavy. Ian, you've changed. He bit my shoulder in mock frustration. It didn't hurt, but it tickled. You're sick of me, he declared, then bit down for real. It's too hot. The AC is set to 68 degrees. Okay, fine. It was my own internal heat. When would this guy realize just how suggestive his actions were? Anyone who knew he had a secret crush would understand, but anyone who didn't would think his crush was me. If this kept up, I was really afraid I'd lose control. After he finished biting me, I casually brought up the topic. Luke, you're this clingy with me. When you get a girlfriend, she's going to be the happiest person alive. By the way, you mentioned at the start of the semester that you've had a crush on someone for a long time. Who is it? After I asked, silence fell. Luke didn't speak. He'd been stroking my waist, but his hand froze. His fingers tightened around my hip, searing hot. Crap. Was I too blunt? Did I make him angry? He turned me to face him, his bright eyes scanning me up and down, scrutinizing me. Why the sudden question? You want to know? I swallowed, a sliver of hope rising in my chest. Yeah. His breath hitched for a second. I'm not quite ready. It doesn't feel like the right time to say, oh, okay. My excitement deflated in an instant. We obviously weren't that close. What good would it do to tell his buddy about this stuff anyway? Just wait for me a little longer. Okay? It's not like I really needed to know anyway. It wouldn't be me. The atmosphere suddenly turned cold. I glanced at the disappointed look on Luke's face, and my heart felt like it was being pricked by 1,000 tiny needles. When I woke up the next day, Luke was already gone. I looked at the empty dorm room and thought about our less than happy conversation last night. He'd left breakfast for me on the table. Juju was already fed, too. Chewing on a pastry, I idly asked the parrot, so tell me, who's your dad, Luke, crushing on? It tilted its head and looked at me. Who's Luke's secret crush? I laughed helplessly. Why was I asking it? What the hell would it know? I opened my phone and saw a message from Luke saying he'd made it home safely. I sent back an okay emoji and then headed home myself. For 2 straight days, Luke didn't message me again. I added some more food to Juju's bowl and stroked his little head. Aren't you Luke's kid? How do you not know who his crush is? And isn't your dad supposed to video call us? Why hasn't he called yet? Juju chirped, video call, video call. My heart leaped. I scratched under his chin. All right, it was time to show Luke how his son was doing. When Luke answered the video call, he was out eating somewhere. What's up, Ian? Miss me already? I turned away, pointing the camera at the parrot. Just wanted to show you your baby. Oh, just that baby? I heard a sigh, followed by a light chuckle. Then flipped the camera around and let me see my other baby. Oh, I flipped the camera, and my face suddenly appeared on the screen, along with Luke's, who was staring at me with a distinct smile and curved eyes. Only then did I realize what he meant. A blush quickly spread across my cheeks, making the tips of my ears burn. What was he talking about? Luke, are you still eating this meat? It's getting tough. It was a girl's voice. Nah, you can have it. Luke put the phone down and passed the meat to her. As the camera shook, I caught a glimpse of the girl's face. Why did she look so familiar? Who are you talking to? Calling them baby and everything. You got a girlfriend? The girl asked him. Then, a more mature female voice, probably Luke's mom, chimed in. What girlfriend could he have? You know who he likes. Luke, I'm telling you, if you really like him, you can't be messing around. You can't let little Ian down. Luke, probably worried his mom would spill all his secrets, cut the conversation short. He quickly said a few more words to me and then hung up. I stared at the disconnected call screen, unable to process what had just happened. My chest felt tight, like it was stuffed with cotton. The strange conversation, Luke's flustered expression at the end, the girl he was eating with, and what his mom said. In a flash, an image sparked in my mind. That girl was at the party, and her name was... After Luke had said he had a long-term crush, her reaction had been over the top. Later, I think she moved to sit next to Luke and talked to him for a long time. I didn't know Luke that well back then, so I sat a little further away to give him some privacy. It hit me now, belatedly, that their relationship back then was much closer than mine and Luke's. It seemed like AU's greatest unsolved mystery was finally solved. After the call ended, I felt a little dazed. Juju tilted his head and looked at me, chirping, baby, 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 my ass. You stupid bird, all you do is chirp baby, baby. Your dad is out having dinner with his crush, and you're still saying baby. I don't know if it understood, but it stopped chirping and lowered its head like a quail. Damn you, Luke, going out to eat with her while I'm stuck here watching his stupid bird. And he had the nerve to tease me just now, asking to see his baby. If his mom hadn't been there, that girl's jealousy would have burned right through the screen. I'm so mad, so mad. After the anger faded, my heart felt empty. An indescribable emotion churned up from deep inside me. My crush was over before it even had a chance to start. So Luke had won her over that fast. No wonder he said a few days ago that it wasn't the right time. Turns out, while he was ignoring me, he was busy chasing his true love. No, wait. I quickly cut off my own sour internal monologue. He said from the beginning that he had a crush. This whole year I spent with him, I should have been prepared, right? By the time Luke called again, it was the last day of the break. I was at a gaming cafe with a friend. We were in the middle of a crucial team fight, and my friend was yelling at me to push, push, push. I split my attention to talk to Luke. Ian, where are you? Not at home? I replied while playing out with a friend. What's up? Dude. Ian, you're a freaking legend. I could kiss you right now. It was too loud, so I shushed my friend. It wasn't quiet on Luke's end either. It sounded like he was in a crowded place. Just a regular friend? No, a really good friend. When are you heading home? Probably not going back tonight. School starts tomorrow, so we're pulling an all-nighter. Then, what? Luke, since when did you get so hesitant? What's wrong? If a guy confessed to you, what would your reaction be? My friend was bugging me to get ready. I glanced at the scruffy nerd next to me, imagined it, and shuddered with disgust, goosebumps rising on my arms. Ugh, that'd be so gross. But if I imagined it was Luke, It didn't seem so bad. I couldn't make that kind of joke, though. He was already taken and had found his happy ending. Luke went silent. For a long moment, there was no response. Hello? Is that so? I get it. Arriving at Mountain View Road, before I could say anything else, he hung up. I stared at the dial tone, a bit stunned. I thought I heard the announcement for the bus stop near my house. It was probably a coincidence. Common street names are everywhere. Besides, he was definitely with his girlfriend right now. The game started, but my mind was elsewhere. The more I thought about it, the more something felt wrong. I died again and again. What's up with you? Why are you so off your game? I stared at the black screen for the umpteenth time. For some reason, I desperately wanted to go home. I felt like I was missing something. I shot up from my chair. My friend grabbed my arm. You're leaving? The team fight is about to start. I pulled my hand away. I'm out. You can play by yourself. I ran outside, hailed a cab, and bolted up the 3 flights of stairs to my apartment, completely out of breath. But the hallway was pitch black. Not a soul in sight. I let out a bitter laugh, feeling ridiculous. What are you thinking, Ian? You hear a muffled bus announcement and you come tearing back? You really think Luke would ditch his true love for you? I fumbled for my keys. It was so dark I couldn't get the key into the lock. Suddenly, a voice came from behind me. Then, a cold body wrapped around me. My heart stopped. My whole body went rigid. Oh no! Am I getting mugged by someone waiting outside my door? Dude, don't kill me. I can go inside and get you money. The person behind me paused, then turned my stiff body around. Ian. Huh? That familiar voice. I blinked, trying to see in the dark. It really was Luke. Holy crap. It's you. You scared me to death. I punched him in anger. He didn't resist, just hugged me tighter. Why are you here? He was squeezing me so tight I could barely breathe, and I could feel him trembling. What's wrong? Did something happen? It's nothing. I wanted to see you. There he went again, saying things that could be easily misunderstood. Pushed him away. I needed to keep my distance. I patted his shoulder. Man, I thought something was wrong. If you wanted to see me, why didn't you text me first? He didn't answer. I pulled him inside and asked, Did you fight with your family? He shook his head, then, after a moment, nodded. So that was it. He must have fought with his girlfriend and came to his best bud for comfort. I opened the fridge, handed him a beer, and said consolingly, It's okay. Your bros got you tonight. He took it and chugged a large gulp, a bitter smile on his face. Thanks, Ian. By the end of it, Luke was a drunken mess, clinging to my arm and whining. Ian, I feel awful. I feel so awful. Watching the person I liked hurting over someone else made my own heart ache. I mumbled to myself, I feel awful too. Why do you feel awful? Luke lifted his head, his eyes glazed and full of confusion. I didn't answer his question. Luke, is she really that great? Is she worth being this miserable over? Luke's eyes cleared slightly, focusing on me. He's great. He's the best. He's the best person in the world. He was staring straight into my eyes as he said it, giving me the illusion that he was confessing to me. I love him. Those words sounded so beautiful, but they weren't for me. A suffocating feeling washed over me, making it hard to breathe. I shifted my stiff body, stood up, and pulled away from Luke. I'm gonna wash my face. When I came back, Luke had fallen asleep. He was still sitting on the rug, his head resting on the sofa, looking surprisingly innocent. Get up. Go sleep in the bedroom. I patted his face to wake him. Ian. I put his arm over my shoulder, but he was so drunk that he stumbled and pulled me down with him. I ended up trapped between him and the sofa. He opened his eyes slightly, his voice low and raspy. Ian. What is it? His intense gaze made me nervous, and my heart raced. That look was against the rules. But he had a girlfriend. My heart ached with a bittersweet pang, and I turned my head away, unable to look at him. Ian. He said my name again. I turned my head back, and he moved in quickly. By the time our lips met, my mind was a complete blank. His kiss tasted of alcohol, wanting to force its way in. But I quickly came to my senses and pushed him away. His expression immediately became wounded. "Is it that disgusting?" he asked, his voice trembling. I couldn't bring myself to lie, so I stayed silent. I couldn't tell him it wasn't disgusting at all, but that it would be unfair to that girl. Luke let out a soft laugh and stood up. "Where are you going?" He stood with his back to me, looking desolate. "Sorry, that was my fault. I'm leaving." The relationship between Luke and me plummeted. After we got back to the dorm, he didn't talk to me, and I didn't know how to start a conversation. Before, even when he came back from playing basketball, the first thing he'd say was, "Ian, I missed you like crazy." Now, the two of us could be in the same room and say nothing to each other. He started playing basketball more often, spending his free time out of the dorm, and he never even whined for me to bring him water anymore. One day, I was coming back from the advisor's office when I saw the basketball court in the distance. My steps faltered, and I changed direction. "Just going for a walk," I told myself. "I'm definitely not trying to secretly watch him." Despite my words, my pace quickened. I reached the court and saw him, a young man sweating freely under the sun. "I'll just watch for a bit," I thought. "There are so many people, he won't even notice me." Luke was playing aggressively, looking like he was in a bad mood. My gaze followed him constantly. I don't know if it was some kind of unspoken connection, but he suddenly turned his head. The person next to him wasn't expecting him to stop, and an accident happened. Luke was knocked to the ground, landing on his arm. At the hospital, it was a fractured left forearm. I stayed with him the whole time, and it felt like we were best friends again. Except now there was a new layer of politeness between us. Sometimes, being too polite is just a silent boundary around things you can't talk about. And arrived while I was getting Luke's prescription. When I returned, I saw them through the small window in the door, acting close, and poked his cast and teased him. "Didn't you used to call yourself Midvale's #1 slam dunk champion? How'd you manage to break your arm? Ha ha ha. I told your mom, by the way. Get ready for a lecture." Luke shot her a glare and punched her with his good right hand. "You're a real piece of work. Why would you tell my mom? You think I'm not miserable enough? Serves you right. Who told you to get distracted while playing ball?" My hand, holding the medicine, flinched. Luke fell because of me. It was my fault. I was hesitating whether to go in when someone else appeared. "Are you Luke's classmate? Why aren't you going in?" I looked up and saw a woman who looked incredibly familiar. She pulled me into the room, and I handed the medicine to Luke. "Oh, you silly boy. Did you knock your head? How do you hurt yourself playing basketball?" And said you got distracted. "What on earth did you see that was so captivating? What, did you see your wifey or something?" Luke quietly listened to the scolding, then turned his head and shot me a wink. This subconscious habit made us both freeze for a second, and an awkward silence filled the air. "Stop, Mom. I know I was wrong." Luke cut his mom off and turned to me. Ian, you can head back. I'm fine now." I was taken aback. Luke hadn't called me by my full name in a long time. "Oh, okay." I nodded, trying to hide my disappointment. After all, his family was here. It wasn't right for an outsider like me to stick around. Just as I was about to leave, I was stopped. "Wait." The woman turned to look me over, then clapped her hands together. "I knew you looked familiar. You're little Ian." I was completely lost, looking at Luke in confusion. "It's me, Mrs. Lin. Don't you remember me? Mrs. Lin? You used to live in Hillcrest when you were a kid, right? You and your mom, you'd always bring us treats." Mrs. Lin's words were like a stone dropped into the pond of my memory, stirring up my long-forgotten time in Hillcrest. I grew up in Hillcrest, and it was a happy time. I was carefree and made a lot of friends there. I remember one little boy who always came to play with me, and he always brought me snacks. He was lively and energetic, and we talked about everything. He even joked that he would marry me one day. I thought about weddings on TV, which were always a boy and a girl, so I very seriously lectured him. "We're both boys. How can we get married?" He stubbornly refused to let go of my hand. "You don't like me?" I nodded. "I like you, and I like you too. My mom says that when two people like each other, they should get married. Unless you're a player." I didn't really understand, but I knew player wasn't a good word, so I agreed. I'm not a player. Let's get married right now. After a moment, I asked him, okay, you be the wife and I'll be the husband, okay? He grinned, planted a kiss on my cheek, and chirped, wifey. I still remember how he led me home, my face bright red. Then he took his mom's phone and had her call my mom. Mrs. Lin had no idea what was going on but called my mom over anyway. So, with our two parents as witnesses, he pulled my hand, knelt down and solemnly announced, we're married now. We hope you'll wish us happiness. My mom and Mrs. Lin looked at each other and burst out laughing. After they'd had their fill of laughing, they managed to say, all right, we approve of this marriage. Our moms became best friends and often went shopping together. My mom was a great cook, and I often brought a portion of her meals over to Mrs. Lin. Later, due to a change in my dad's job, my whole family moved just as I was about to start elementary school. My parents thought things like that weren't important to kids, so I didn't understand we were leaving for good until it was time to say goodbye. The day we left, Mrs. Lin's family was out visiting relatives, so the boy and I never got a real farewell. When we first moved to Midvale, I had just learned to write. I wrote letters every day, begging my mom to mail them for me. I received a few replies at first, but kids forget quickly, and soon the whole thing fizzled out. So that means the little boy was Luke. How could it be such a coincidence? No wonder Mrs. Lin looked so familiar. It turns out that the person you love as a child, you can fall in love with all over again as an adult. My taste has been consistent my whole life. Mrs. Lin pulled me closer, her eyes full of affection. You've grown so much and so handsome. I didn't even recognize you at first. I scratched my head, a little embarrassed. When I was little, my mom thought I was cute and often dressed me in skirts. How has your mom been lately? She's doing well. She has her own studio now and is always busy. That's wonderful. Mrs. Lin was genuinely happy, her face beaming. I always thought she had great taste and was so beautiful, but we lost touch later on. She changed her phone number a long time ago. I pulled out my phone to give Mrs. Lin my mom's contact info. She shook her head and explained, just knowing she's doing well is enough. When this kid started college, he said he'd found his wifey. Before we could even celebrate, he found out you didn't recognize him. Oh, he was so heartbroken. Mom! Luke coughed twice, and Mrs. Lin immediately mimed, zipping her lips. Okay, I'll stop. I was completely confused. What did Mrs. Lin mean by that? Mrs. Lin and I had a long overdue reunion, and she insisted on treating me to dinner. I couldn't refuse, so the four of us ended up at a table. Mrs. Lin and Ann sat together with Luke and me next to each other. Since Luke was still recovering and needed to eat light, we chose a delicate Huayang-style restaurant. Throughout the meal, Mrs. Lin reminisced about our childhood and all of Luke's embarrassing moments. Instead of getting jealous or upset, Ann listened with great interest. Eventually, the two of them got so engrossed in their conversation that Luke and I were left staring at each other. At one point, Ann was laughing so hard she had tears in her eyes. Is it true, Ian? Did Luke really call you hubby when you were kids? I nodded awkwardly and shot Luke a look. Luke, trying to understand, eventually raised his eyebrows back at me. I face-bombed internally and leaned closer. He offered his ear. Explain. You need to explain this. He looked at me doubtfully. Are you sure? I nodded. After getting my approval, he confidently spoke up. It wasn't just me calling Ian hubby, okay? He called me that too. He looked incredibly proud of himself and winked at me. My eyes widened, and my cheeks flushed red. As I suspected, Luke was completely unreliable. I shouldn't have let him make things even more chaotic. Oh my, you two are so funny, calling each other hubby. So, tell your mom. How far have you two gotten? I froze, blinking in confusion. What did she mean, how far have we gotten? Did I hear that right? Did she mean what I think she meant? I suddenly remembered that inexplicable kiss and the silent treatment we'd been giving each other for days. Oh, don't be shy. Never mind, never mind. We won't meddle in you two's affairs. Mrs. Lin and Ann exchanged a smile and dropped the topic. The food was tasteless. My mind was somewhere else entirely. As I ate, I sensed something was wrong. Very wrong. Why wasn't Anne angry at all? Why were she and Mrs. Lin trying to set me up with Luke? Even I, as dense as I am, finally got it. Was it possible that I had gotten it all wrong? That Luke and Anne weren't a couple, and the person Luke liked was me? At that thought, I couldn't suppress the smile spreading across my face, a secret joy blooming in my heart. On the way back, Anne split off from us at the campus gate. With the mood maker gone, the awkwardness between Luke and me returned. Several times, I wanted to ask him, but the words got stuck in my throat. Finally, I mustered the courage to ask, but Luke spoke first. Ian, don't mind what my mom said today. She was just joking. The words died in my throat again. Was my judgment wrong? That night, when it was time to shower, I looked at Luke's casted arm and offered, "Need help?" His eyes darted away. "No, I'm good." This was nothing like the cheeky Luke I knew. The old Luke would have grinned and let me help him undress, then used it as an excuse to grab my ass. I swallowed my disappointment. "Okay, well, call me if you need anything." He just grunted and went into the bathroom. A moment later, I heard something fall in the shower. I immediately got up and pushed the bathroom door open. Luke was picking up the body wash bottle and putting it back on the shelf. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine, just dropped it." He looked dazed, not comprehending the situation. Fearing he might hurt himself again, I decided to take the initiative. "I'll help you wash." "Don't." The moment I turned the shower head on him, he turned bright red. Against his fair skin, he looked almost pink. "Is the water too hot?" "No." I moved closer to pull his casted arm away from the water, but he jumped back as if startled, nearly losing his balance. "Why are you moving so far away?" I pulled him closer. The water inevitably splashed onto my clothes, soaking me. He averted his face, his gaze frantically searching for something else to look at. His Adam's apple bobbed, and a blush crept up to the tips of his ears. "Okay, Ian, I'm done. You can go out now." He turned off the water, his voice a little rough as he pushed me out of the bathroom. I smiled to myself, my heart pounding violently. Looks like I was right. That kid, Luke, is definitely in love with me. When Luke came out, the blush on his face hadn't faded. I couldn't hold back any longer. I cut straight to the chase. "Luke, are you in love with me?" He paused in the middle of drying his hair, then resumed the motion. "I knew you'd figure it out today. I can move out, don't feel pressured. Just don't ignore me, Ian. Can we still be friends?" As he spoke, his voice grew quieter, with a hint of a tremor. "But I don't want to be your friend anymore." For the first time in our relationship, I took the lead. I put my hands on his shoulders and made him face me. He froze, his usually bright eyes filled with panic. "I want to be your boyfriend." "What?" I said. "Luke, I like you, and I want to be your boyfriend." His usually talkative mouth hung open, and he just stared, forgetting how to react. I thought about that last kiss and how cute he looked right now, and my heart pounded. "I want to kiss you. Can I?" He nodded, so I stood on my tiptoes and kissed him. "Why aren't you reacting? Don't you like me?" The words were barely out of my mouth before he took control, his kiss falling heavily on mine, claiming my mouth. Our breaths mingled, and I could feel the depth of his affection. Am I dreaming?" I gave his lips a quick peck. "Is it a dream?" "Nope. Hee. My secret crush came true. Luke and I started dating. Physical attraction plus emotional attraction was an unbeatable combination. Luke was already shameless, but now he was on another level. He could spew a whole basket of flirty nonsense every day. Sometimes Juju would be there and start mimicking him. Afraid of corrupting Juju, I had to shut Luke's mouth with mine whenever he started talking nonsense. With nothing new to learn, Juju started spouting old lines. Who is Luke's secret crush? Luke and I both opened our eyes and stopped what we were doing. Why was the parrot bringing up the question I kept asking it during fall break? Speaking of which, that made me mad. I looked at him. I asked irritably, "So, who was this person you were crushing on for so long?" Luke licked his lips and gave me a wicked smile. Juju beat him to it. "Ian." I squinted at Luke, who just laughed, his hands on my waist. "Looks like I'm so charming you've been hung up on me since we were kids." He didn't deny it. his eyes full of adoration. Yes, Ian is the most charming. I've been hung up on you forever. Then why didn't you confess? You coward. His eyes sparkled as he said very seriously, when you like someone that much, you get scared. Scared of losing them, scared you won't even get to be friends. Tears welled up in my eyes. Cursed him, you idiot. He pecked my lips. I'm not that much of an idiot, am I? Besides, wasn't I trying to seduce you the whole time? I bit him playfully and replied, all right, well, you succeeded. Epilogue. I have a very cute boyfriend. Of course, that came later. He was cute even before he was my boyfriend. Our fate was sealed a long time ago, so I recognized him on the first day of school. He was my hubby. I eagerly made his bed and got him water, but all he did was stare blankly and say, thanks, Luke. You're a really good person. Such icy words in the middle of a scorching summer. My heart shattered into a million pieces. But my hubby is cold on the outside and warm on the inside. He took me with him everywhere. Hee. I picked up the pieces of my heart and put them back together. It was still in the shape of Ian. I knew it. My hubby still loved me, but I didn't ask him about the past. A good man has to make his hubby fall in love with him over and over again. I'm no genius, but I have a bit of confidence in my looks. And so, I began my seduction plan. At the welcome party, I confessed to my hubby in a very direct and bold way. After I said it, I shot him a shy, meaningful look. I wonder if my hubby got it? Oh my God. So embarrassing. But my hubby, that block of wood, didn't seem to get it. Instead, that loudmouth and started poking into our business. She even threatened to tell my auntie, aka my mom, if I didn't spill. Hilarious. My mom has known for ages, okay? My hubby and I have had her blessing for a long time. After that, I ramped up my seduction efforts. I casually let my pajama top slip after a shower, showing a little skin. I integrated myself into every aspect of my hubby's life, including his bed. My hubby was always stunned and shy, and he always threatened to kick me out. But all it took was a hug and a little whining, and he'd give in helplessly. Then I'd get to hold him in my arms. Every night after he fell asleep, I'd take a deep breath. He smells so good. I thought my hubby and I would naturally fall in love over time. On the last day of fall break, I bought a ticket to go see him, my bag filled with a gift I'd been preparing for days. I carried a bouquet of flowers, and people kept turning to look at me. If they knew who my hubby was, they'd only be jealous. As I got close, I planned to surprise him and nervously gave him a call. I never expected him to say, ugh, that'd be so gross. My heart fell into an ice cavern. I didn't have the courage to bring the flowers up, nor did I have the courage to confess. I thought I could control my emotions, but I couldn't stop myself from kissing him. Sob, my hubby doesn't love me. My heart, this time, was completely shattered. Afraid my hubby would find me annoying, I didn't even dare go back to our little home. I spent all my time in the gym with a bunch of smelly guys. Until one day I saw my hubby. My attention was completely captivated, and I forgot I was in the middle of a game. And then I got perfectly injured. Good news. My hubby took care of me nonstop. Bad news. My own mother showed up and chewed me out in front of my hubby. Worried about my image, I had to ask my hubby to leave first. But my mom recognized her second son-in-law and insisted we all have dinner together. My hubby gets embarrassed easily, so I apologized to him on the way there. My hubby didn't say anything. He really doesn't love me. T to the power of T. That night in the shower, my heart ached, and I didn't know how to make my hubby forgive me. I wasn't paying attention and knocked over the shampoo. My hubby rushed in, asking if I was okay. I looked at my own awkward position, panicked, and wanted to kick him out. But my hubby, being the kind soul he is, insisted on washing me, his hands touching me here and there. I had to restrain myself so hard I almost lost my mind. When I got out, my body was hot, but my heart was cold. Just then, my hubby suddenly slid in and confessed to me. What? So my hubby likes me? How did you know it was my hubby who confessed to me first? Well, actually, he was the first one to make a move, too. My seduction plan worked.